Do you feel unfulfilled and wonder what you would do in life? What will you do to bring fulfillment? Because life has become very frustrating and many people are feeling like there's something more to life. There's something more that I can do. Do you feel like that? In this video, we shall be discussing some of the issues around life fulfillment and what you can do, what I can do to bring more fulfillment in our lives. And so the subject of being the best that we can be is something that I've been very close to my heart because I believe that we all need to be the best that we can be. We need to bring out the best of us. And in life, sometimes we feel like we are not getting there. We're not making the progress that we should make. And what differentiates the people who actually make a difference and who live the best life and who bring out the best of themselves really comes down to four things. And I'm going to talk about them today. So the 4 C's of fulfilled life. We're going to talk about the 4 C's of a fulfilled life. And straight on to it, the first C that we're going to tackle today in the 4 C's of a fulfilled life is creation. Creation and creativity. I love the Bible and I get a lot of wisdom and a lot of instruction about life from the Bible. And in the first book of the Bible, Genesis, we find the story of creation. And what's interesting is that the first thing that God introduces himself to us about in Genesis is that he's a creator. He says, in the beginning, God created. So what does that tell us? That the first thing that God wants us to know about him is that he's a creator, which is very interesting. And I thought about it. I said, you know what? God has so many qualities. You know, he's holy, he's almighty, he's omniscient, he's omnipresent, all-knowing. He's got many, many other characteristics that we can list. But the first thing that he wants us to know about him is that he's a creator. Why is that important? When you look closely at the creation and look at the categories of creation that God made, you find that one, of course, there is the creation, which is the universe, the stars, the heavens, the earth, the firmaments, the galaxies, the moon, the stars. He creates all these things. That's the first category of creation. Then the second category of creation is the creatures. So he then makes the creatures, which of course are the birds in the air, all the creatures that crawl on the land, and the fish in the sea. So those are the creatures. And then the third category is the most interesting. The third category now is the human beings. And when you look at how the human beings are created, they are different from the other 2 categories. The other 2 categories, God just said, let there be, and there was the universe and all this, and let there be creatures, and let there be trees, and let there be plants and all this. For human beings, he did not say, let there be. Why is that? Because he said, let us make man in our image, and he formed man. And the whole story, if you go read in Genesis, you will find it quite fascinating. And he forms man out of the dust and breathes in him the breath of life, and therefore he has made man in his image. And that connects to what I'd said earlier. So the fact that God shows us his creative power as one of the things that he introduces himself to us tells us that that is very important for us to know, because he wants us also to be creators, and not just to be, but he has made us creators. You know, God in the creation, he did the first 6 days, and then after that God has continued creating, but through us, through the human beings. And that's why human beings are able to do magnificent things. People wonder, where do human beings get all this creative power to make, jumbo jets that fly, the ships that sail in the seas, magnificent mega projects of bridges and skyscrapers. And all this is the creative power of man. God never made a single chair or made a single table, but gave us the wood, the trees, and through our creativity that God has put within us, we are able to create all these things that we see. So that is one of the first C of the 4 C's that I'm talking about today, is creation. We need to bring out that creativity which God has put within us, because that is the way that God has designed us to be fulfilled. If you bring out the creativity that is within us and create something, we are all meant to create something. So if you want to live a fulfilled life, find out what is that one thing you are created to do, and do it and create something. We cannot go through life just being spectators. You have something within you that you can create. Go create it. It may be a book, it may be a play, it may be a film, it may be a technology. Go and create that creation that is within you, because there are things that have been hid within you that we need, and it's not just for you, it's for all of us. Miles Monroe said that the wealthiest place in the world is not the gold mines of South America, or the oil fields of the Middle East, or the diamond mines in South Africa, or the banks around the world. The wealthiest place in the world is the cemetery. Think about that, because there lies companies that were never started, inventions that were never made, best-selling books that were never written. Buried there are great treasures and untapped potential. And I agree with Miles Monroe, because in the cemetery, there are trillions and trillions worth of ideas and creations that were never created. And this means those things were denied for the rest of humanity. And we need to make sure that before we go to that cemetery, we have produced what God has deposited within us. So today, purpose to produce what is within us. Go and find out what it is. Some of us already know what it is. Produce it, polish it, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Start where you are. Start creating it and improve on it as you go. Do your first book, and then the second book will be better, and you keep improving yourself, because it's all a learning process. Someone say that as we do these activities and we take the step and we work and we produce those creations, we are working on them and they're also working on us, so we are becoming a better person. So go out there, do the creative work that has been deposited in you, because we need it and the world needs it, and that is how you get fulfillment. So that is the first C. The second C is connection. So I believe that God created human beings, one, in his image to continue creating, but secondly also for connection, because God needed somebody that can appreciate his creation and what he has done. The trees and the universe and the animals cannot appreciate what God has done, but we human beings have the capability to appreciate God, to worship God. And God created us for that connection. So connection is the second C that we need for a fulfilled life. And the connection is not just our connection with God, but also our connection with the people that God has put around us, because those are the people that God has brought in our lives. These are our partners, our children, our parents, our siblings. And if you look at Genesis, where God says it's not good for man to be alone, and he created the woman, and the two get a connection, and through that connection they also produce offsprings, and they also connect to that offspring, and that is the connection that God has put in our lives. So all these things that we aspire to do or to be or to achieve would mean nothing if we don't have those connections. If today I said I would give you $100 million, a massive palatial home, 3 of the top sports car that you can choose, an Aston Martin, a Ferrari, Lamborghini, the best clothes, all of the trappings of wealth, and then set you up in an island far, far away from any human being, no phone, no internet, completely isolated. Do you think you would enjoy that wealth? You wouldn't. Those things would lose meaning within a very short time. Why? Because human beings are created for connection. We take for granted a lot of the connections we have because we grow up with the people around us. But the truth is, we need connection. We need to connect with the people that we love, and we need not to take them for granted. We need to love those people that are around us, connect with them, because that is part of the way that we get fulfillment. Our achievements, our creativity will make more sense because of the connections that we have with the people that are within our circles. Most of us live like we're going to live for the next 300 years, yet we don't have much time to live. Our life is very short. You've got 80 years or 100 years if you're lucky, and before you know it, you're gone, or the people that you love are gone. And we need to show them we love them, and we need to connect with them and spend time with them. It's sad that the only flowers some people receive is on their graveside, and throughout life nobody ever sent them any flowers, and on their graveside you find all these flowers from the people that they were connected to, but they never spend any time together. So we need to cherish the people around us, and that is one of the ways that we can build that fulfillment that we are all looking for. The third C of the 4 C's is community. We are all part of a family, but we're also part of a larger community. And this may be a town, maybe a village, maybe a district, maybe a country, maybe a tribe, maybe a race, maybe a faith. We all have a community around us, and we meant to impact that community, to participate and add value to that community. Many people today, unfortunately, are isolating themselves and not participating in community. We need to connect to the greater community. And the great people that we celebrate, like Nelson Mandela, sports people like Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, and the businessmen like Jeff Bezos, they all impact their communities. They don't isolate themselves. Part of how they build their wealth and build their impact is through connecting with community and doing things that add value to community. So we all need to be connected to our community as part of building that fulfillment that we are all looking for. So some of us are not fulfilled because we have separated ourselves from community, and community is very, very, very important. So go out there, connect with your community, find out what you can do to add value to your community, because that's one way of getting fulfillment. The fourth and final C is contribution. And this talks of sacrifice, talks of giving of ourselves. And one of the truths of the Bible is that God has contributed his best for us over and over again. From the days of the men in the Old Testament to the time of Jesus Christ, God has been sacrificing so much for us as human beings. And we are called to also sacrifice and give ourselves to other people. That is our contribution. We need to go out and help the needy people. We need to go out and help the disadvantaged. And that is one way that you can get fulfilled. Somebody said that whoever says money cannot buy happiness has never given it away. There's a joy and fulfillment that comes from giving, from helping people. When you think of legends, it's not just about the sports people and people who've made money or who are wealthy. There are people who have been legends and they don't have much wealth. In fact, Nelson Mandela wasn't rich. He didn't die a multimillionaire, but he had his impact through what he did. Think of legends like Mother Teresa and what she did in Calcutta. She was not rich. She didn't have material things. Yet she dedicated her life to helping the poor, the crippled, the blind, the lepers, and all those people who feel unwanted. So you have an opportunity to think not just about your immediate circumstances and your own need, but you start looking out there to how you can help other people. Have you ever gone out to help the orphans? Have you ever gone out to help the needy? Have you ever gone out to help the widows? Every time I've given, because my wife and I have participated a lot in giving to orphan homes, and there's such a joy that comes from that giving. I know I can give a lot more and I would want to give a lot more, but the little I'd feel that I've contributed and helped, I know the joy that it brings me. And if you're looking for fulfillment and joy, part of it is also giving, because life is about helping those that are in need and helping those who are disadvantaged. It's not just about enriching ourselves and making our lives happy. There's a joy that comes from helping people who can never help you back, giving to them and sacrificing what you have to help them. So go out and look for opportunities to give and to help. The little you have, you don't have to be much. Give the little you have, and as the Bible says that God is not a debtor of anyone. If you lend and if you give to the poor, God will reward you and you will find blessings coming back to you in an amazing way. So go out there and give a contribution. And that is the final C of the 4 C's of life. So it's creation. Go find what is within you that you can create and bring into the world. Connection with those that God has connected you with, your partner, your children, your family, your parents. Connect with them, love them, honor them, show them love. Remember to always reach out to them. Community, the wider community. Find ways to add value to the wider community. And finally, contribution. Just like God has always given us his best, also go out there and give to those that are disadvantaged. And if you do those 4 things, you will find fulfillment in life beyond any material things or any money can buy. So I hope this has been helpful to you. And if you want to get more of this content, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you press the notification bell so that when we have new videos, you can be notified. And comment and share so that you can support our channel. Appreciate your time with me. Bye for now.